You're the center of the universe. You constantly think of yourself. You think you're too pretty. Your parents care about you, your partner cares about you, the world is warm and frizzy. Everything is so great. I'm not talking about any kind of narcissist behavior, but the general behavior, a positive perception that you have of yourself. You think the world belongs to you, there's enough space for you in this world. You're gonna stroll in a park and you're observing the butterflies, the grass, the beautiful cloud, the breeze on your skin, etc., etc., and everything is just too pretty. But suddenly you feel some kind of discomfort, as if someone is looking at you, and you realize that yes, someone is looking at me and that's making me comfortable. After a point, I find myself conscious, adjusting my hair, adjusting how I look like, whether I've dressed nicely today, how my body language is, etc. etc. This is called the look. This is the famous philosophy of no one else but the French existential philosopher Jean Paul Sartre. He says that we are just not the subject of ourselves. This solipsistic view that you have of yourself, where everything centers around you, is not the right way because you're constantly judged by the other person. External validation of the other is what makes you. You become the object of other person's look, other person's gaze. You suddenly realize that it is not just the other person who's looking at you, but you're also judging that person, looking at that person, and making that person the object of your perception. That person also feels uncomfortable because he feels objectified. This is the look. And believe me or not, this is the world that we live in. What we think of ourselves doesn't matter. What the other person thinks of you, how the other person looks at you, what the other person's gaze is of you, your perception of you, knowingly, unknowingly, wanting or not wanting, becomes important for you. What Sartre tries to say is that we are not being for ourselves, but we are being for others. The white gaze, the male gaze, the black person in a white world becomes the being for other, the object. A woman in a man's world becomes the object. A person who is handicapped in the world of all those people who have working limbs becomes the object. This is how the world runs, but you should not be affected by it and believe in yourself. Thank you so much for listening to me, like always.